Hello, welcome back again. Okay, what I'm going to be doing today is fitting the handbrake and the rest of the braking system to the rear of my MGZ TT after I had the episode of replacing the whole of the back suspension. Handbrake cables I was waiting for before I could finish the job, they've now arrived. So, take the bag off, which was on there just to stop rust forming on the, if it rained as the car's out on the drive. Remove the old handbrake cables, fit the new ones, fit all the backing plates, the handbrake shoes, the discs, calipers, brake pads, and put the wheel back on. So, let's start. Okay, so first of all you need to remove your wheel, obviously, your brake disc, your brake caliper, the pads. If you just change the handbrake cables, then you don't need to do any more than that really. Get your shoes off. Okay, so what will happen, you may have to go a bit further obviously, because this is my one backing plate, which as you can see is fixed to nothing. Put the pads on with a nut and bolt because the holes there was rusted through. What you might find is the cable, when you remove it, this metal goes through a tube in here and just seizes in. Okay, it took a lot of effort to try and get it out, a bit of more grips, wiggling back and forth, but in the end I ended up pulling the handbrake cable apart. That's why I now ended up buying new ones, just to make sure. So you pull the handbrake, unclip it from its mounting, if I show you the mounting. Okay, so this is the new backing plate, obviously not the size of the other side of the car, but same thing applies. Okay, which I've had from DMGRS. I'll put a link in the description to them. All brand new, just under £130 delivered. And you get the backing plate, both sides, shoes, the locking pins, the springs, and also the adjusters, which are very hard to get hold of. Looking at the adjuster at the top here, this also looks a lot thicker than the one that came on my car as well, so it could even be upgraded. Okay, so as I said, the handbrake cables go through a tube like that, tends to rust in, and you can't get it out. My new handbrake cables, one handbrake cable is now plastic, so it won't rust in the future. Okay, if I show you the right side, what you need to do first of all, disconnect. I said, take the wheel off, take your brake caliper off, and also the disc. Okay, so I was doing other jobs, so I removed the hub and everything as well. So if you want to replace the back plates, you need to remove the hub. It's only a single bolt in the middle, and then just either use a puller or tap it off. Okay, so my new back plate will go on like so. Also bought new bolts for that as well. Okay, and then use the adjuster. I need to get the handbrake cable through and attached into the handbrake adjuster here before I can do all that. So first things first is to remove the cables from underneath the car. Okay, so just show you underneath the car. Okay, so the handbrake cables go into this bracket here between the subframe and the petrol tank. You see they just clip in two round holes. Okay, and then further down the car, we'll clip into those two there, just on the one fuel tank bracket, before they then go into the car there. Okay, apparently you can take that big rubber grommet out there to get the cables without having to take all the seats and the carpets up and things like that. I'm not going to do that because I want to get into there, show you a bit more. I've never done it, I don't know how fiddly it is, but I'll be able to find out from the top and let you know. So I'm going to move inside the car and remove seats, carpets and part of the centre console. Okay, so inside the car then, remove the handbrake gaiter, okay, which just unclips around. You need to lift up the armrest unclips, okay, from with its location, and then just slide it, wiggling off. Okay, you then got just down there. You adjust the bracket, slacken that right the way off until it's almost hot, but leave it attached. Okay, that'll give you a lot more slack then on the cables. Okay, ready to adjust them. Okay, so remove that. Now again, next part, you have a choice. You can either remove the seats, which I'll show you in another video, or you can slide the seats forward and just about get the screws in, or get out the screws for the centre console, which is there. But also in the centre console, underneath whatever you've got here, like an ashtray or something like that. 2 bolts there. There's also some then just in the seats. I'm going to take the seats out just to make it easier for myself. Also then, you just need to lift up the back seat so you can get the carpets out underneath. But front seats first, so I can then undo the centre console, because what I'm going to do is not remove the centre console, but just lift the back of it up, roll the carpets back underneath so I can get at the cables. So, front seats out next. Okay, so I've unbolted the seats, I haven't actually taken them out. Okay, because all I managed to do is just push them enough forward to get at that screw there. Okay, it's a Phillips screw. There's one on the other side as well. And then those 2 bolts, okay, which are 10mm I believe. And then the centre console then should lift up enough to be able to roll the carpets back underneath and get at the compensator. Okay, if you do want to change the actual handbrake, because I know there's a bit of a problem with the handbrake compensators, I've modified mine already. So provided my modification works, I won't need to do anything else. The way the car's going though, chances are I probably will. But a lot of people tend to use the one off the R50 Minis, the first generation of the Mini, and use the cable and adjust the block there, can't think what it's called now, off that as well. Okay, so if you want to, if you feel inclined, there's an option for you then as well. Okay, but first of all, undo the 2 screws, undo the 2 bolts, then we lift up the back seat, pull the carpet out from underneath it, roll it back, and I think I give the car a hoover before I put everything back as well. I did find 55p. Okay, so the screws and the bolts are now undone, so you can lift the centre console that much. If you want to get more than that, you're going to have to take out everything out the front, which I ain't doing that. Okay, that is pretty much all you need, because just underneath here is the cables. Okay, they are going to be a bit awkward to get at, but that's what this car is. Right, back seat up, carpet out. Okay, so carpet's nice and easy. You have to take off your plastic trim here. Mine have already made a bit for freedom, so they're not on the car. And then the carpet then, it's got 2 holes in there. Just hook over the mounting clips there for the back seats. You can just pull it down. And then try and pull it forward and up and tuck it underneath the centre console. I need 2 hands for this. Okay, I'll tell you what, it's hard work this carpet, especially with it snowing. Settling in the car, back from the other side. It's bloody cold. Okay, I can't get this carpet underneath enough, so I'm also going to undo the bolts there at the bottom of the seat belt, just so I can fold it in a bit more from the sides. Okay, I've had to unclip the bottom trim here as well, just to untuck the carpet from underneath. But it'll just give me a bit more movement, so I just get underneath. Okay, so you may want to do that. It's only 270mm bolts, taking pretty much most of the car apart, so I might as well take that apart as well. Okay, so when you get the bolt out, okay, you've got bolt, and then you've got like a spacer then as well. Okay, so make sure you get the spacer so it goes back in the same way. So you should have a bit more room just to tuck a bit more carpet out now. So we'll have these tools out of the way. So hopefully, oh, come on. Oh great, more water. I love water in my car. Oh, for God's sake. Okay, got the carpet up mainly on the passenger side. I'll tell you what, I think I might have said it should be easy in the beginning. In theory, in reality this carpet is just so thick. I mean, well done MG Rover for the build quality, but my God, it's a pain in the ass. Okay, as you can see, there's a torque bolt there which covers the plate which goes over the compensator and the ends of the cables. So I'll find the probably is easy for me. I think there's probably one, I don't see it, so I'm leaving in the position yet, holding up this bloody carpet because I can't get the centre console up high enough. Anyway, I'm going to undo that. There's probably another one there as well. Okay, so a bit of investigation. There's actually 3 of these bolts, one there and one on the other side of the tunnel. They're T30 Torx, so once with them. I've also got a block of wood now which I'm going to wedge underneath and try and hold this carpet up, because I need to try and hold the carpet up and use 2 hands to get into those ones there. So I'm going to use a block of wood just to hold this up, hopefully. Okay, so there you go. Here's the other one. It's a silver metal plate, one on both sides. And that then should give you access to the compensator. Okay, so as I said, T30s. You know what to undo with screw. Okay, so once you've undone them, the metal plate just comes away, and there we have the handbrake compensator. Okay, so as I said, there's a couple of options through here. Normally what happens if you've got a poor handbrake, the original one stretches and bends. Okay, you can either change it to the mini R50 version, which a lot of people tend to do, or what I've done is I've put a metal shackle in there, which, as you can see, works quite nicely. Okay, so just need to unhook the handbrake cables out with its slots, pull them through the car, and put the new ones on. A lot of work. Okay, so that there looks like the grommet from underneath. So from underneath, you might find it probably would be a damn sight easier to get at this. The only thing is you probably won't be able to see what you're doing. Okay, but as I said, you just need to slacken off the handbrake so you can pull this back here as far as it'll come back to give you as much room as you can, and then the cables then just slide and hook off. And they'll just slide upwards and hook off from underneath. So let's get that done. Cable out. You gotta get this ball to pop out through the top hole here, which is quite difficult one-handed. Okay, like I said, the ball comes out through the top. Okay, I've got one out. My fingers are totally numb. It's so cold here. I got a new cable. It wants to fight. I'll fight back with Axel. I'm just going to cut that. Failing that, I'll get the angle grinder out and teach you a little proper lesson. Okay, so Axel done the job. That's the old cable out. We'll see if you need to reuse your cables, then let's just try and unclip it, but it's so difficult for a simple task. But I guess that's what this car's been doing lately. So, there you go, you might be able to see the compensator mod. Or so just a metal shackle I put on there. A little bolt through there, hooking it on our split pin. Just been that done for a good 4 or 5 years. And as you can see, it's doing its job. The original one, apparently, well, not apparently, it does. It's just a metal bar here, and it just bends. It's just so soft over time. It bends, and you then get slack handbrakes, and they're no longer able to adjust it. So anyway, that's the old cables off. Let's put the new ones in, connect them back up into here, and fit onto the wheels. Okay, so here's the old cables and the new cable. As you can see, a bit of a difference already. Hopefully that's just the cable, because on the old one, which you've just seen, I had quite good difficulty getting out. Got quite a long cable from where it comes through the car to the compensator. Whereas on the new one, I haven't got much. At the other end of this is a spring, so it's me pulling against it all the time when I pull the top end. So I've got a funny feeling it's going to be even more difficult than it should be. But we'll see. Anyway, underneath the car, threaded this through the hole. Okay, there's little metal locking catches, I suppose, on the old ones that are bent off with a screwdriver. They're in there in the bin. But in here, then you can see they just pop through the hole and hold the cable in. Because that grommet there looks look at the ends of there. I mean, that's the one I cut off. This isn't going to be easy. Oh well, all I can say is you better like this video. Okay, so I fed the cables into the car. Little white plastic tangs are now snapped into place. All I've done is just pop them onto the bracket that holds them up on the petrol tank. Everything else is still dangling underneath. There's the compensator. There's the cable, and as I pull, ain't gonna reach. Fuck. Right, it's gonna take a bit of pressure. 2 hands, maybe more hands, maybe something else to do, I don't know, to get this fitted into here. What I might do is take the nut off the handbrake totally, just so I can pull it through here, connect these on, and then try and feed it back through when everything's back down. Unless I can get these on, which I think that's the option. Let's see if I can get them on. Okay, right. Had a couple of attempts. It's quite difficult, but I think I might be able to get it on like this. Just go up here, pointing those pliers, and it's just pulling enough on the spring at the back there. Just gonna try and move it into the hole. See if I can film that, just to make it a bit more interesting. Let's see. Pop that up. Okay, handbrake cables are finally in. Don't let anyone tell you it was easy, because it was a total pig. Managed to get the one in. I think the balls might be just a little bit too big for the holes, maybe, I'm not sure, but that took me, I don't know, a lot longer than what I needed to. It was there, well, I had to have assistance from the wife to try and hit the ball into the hole with an extension bar and a hammer, whilst I was prying the compensator back, holding it with a foot and the other one, and holding the cable up then with the pliers. It was a total and utter pig. But it's in. I also slackened the bolt off on the handbrake to the most it would go anymore and come off, and then I'd probably have more difficulty then trying to get the thing back on again. But it's on, it's attached. So I'm just going to put a bit of grease on these. Not that I need it, but every little helps. Clean out all the crap that's in there, and then put the cover back over. I've also managed to knock out the grommet from underneath, so I have to put that back in underneath when I go into there as well. But good luck getting them in there, you're going to need it. Okay, so put the metal cover back in place. That's pretty much everything now inside the car here. So you can, if you want to, put the car lights back down. Okay, I'm not going to do that, I'm just going to crack on now, because it's absolutely freezing here. It's snowing again still, not too bad, but it's snowing, but it's freezing, and I'm just going to crack on with it. So, I'm going to move underneath the car now, so I can connect the cables up underneath, ready then to put them onto the back plates. Okay, so back underneath the car, you can see that's where the grommet goes. Actually, knocked it out when I was doing it from above, so you can see the access you have there. To do what we just done there, there's basically no chance. So I think getting access from underneath through the grommet is a no-no. So I'll pop that grommet back in now, Okay, the cables. Okay, so the cables come out from the car there, right along the inside of the petrol tank, and clip in there, and then here then is the bracket with the split. Okay, so you just gotta thread them in through there. Okay, so they mount in their hook brackets there and then split out to either side of the car to the brakes. Okay, so now let's fit them. Okay, so need to connect up the handbrake cables now and fit all the brakes. So here is my new back plate. This is the new back plate. Okay, it'll fit onto the trailing arm here, like so. Put it bolted on and hold it there. Okay. I'm just going to put a bit of protection on the back of it there, a bit of grease in there, even though the new cables are plastic. I'm just going to put a bit on there as well. Okay, I need to take this here out because the handbrake cable needs to go into that. Okay, and then put that back in. So it's only a case of taking off the bottom string. Should be enough then to just get them apart. Okay, so thread the cable through the hole in the trailing arm there, the bottom. Okay. 4 nuts for the backing plate. That's the part number for the nuts. Okay, so I'm going to take the back plate, put that on so that goes through that hole into the adjuster at the back. Okay, so taking all the mechanism off the back plate. So, the back plate's put a bit of copper grease on the bolts and just tighten them up. As you do anything like that, if you want it flat, just do it opposite. As you can see, the cable is coming through the hole nicely. Oh, at least it's not raining, I suppose. It might be like 1 degree. There's no raining. Be thankful. I think I'd rather have the rain, to be honest with you, because it's absolutely freezing. Okay, so they're done up, not tight. Okay, I'll talk about them in a minute. Okay, so all I've done for the handbrake, I've kept it all in one piece. Just Phillips screw, just unclip those from the backing plate, all come off together, and take this off now so I can get the handbrake cable in there and put it all on. I've also wound the adjuster in as it'll go. Okay, so when I put the shoes and all on, okay, so all you do, get a flat screwdriver and knock it downwards. Okay, up will make it adjust outwards, so when you put the handbrake on, whatever, and bring it in so you can get everything on. Okay, so first though, let's torque them up. Okay, so I've torqued them up to the mighty 7 pounds-foot or 9 Newton meters. So yeah, nice and solid. Right, let's get this handbrake cable attached. Okay, so all I've done, just pop the one spring off, just so the handbrake clamp, whatever you want to call it, it's come off. So I just put that around there and then slot it back in between the shoes, put the shoes on, and then I put the disc on, along then with the caliper, the brake pads and everything, put the hood back on, and then this side then is all connected up. Do the same on the other side, then we can go into adjusting. Okay, so fitting the adjuster nice and easy, just open it up. So you've got the 2 prongs there, which slot around the cable, and then you just close it, and that's on. And then when it goes in between the pads, obviously then it's sort of like locked shut then, if you like. Okay, and that puts the handbrake on. Okay, so all attached. Just so you know, if you've seen earlier, I turned this around, flipped it around the other way, because when I looked at the other one I couldn't remember which way it came off, so make a note of that. So I checked with the other one, so I swapped this around now to fit the other way. Okay, can't remember which way that was either, but it's all on. Okay, so I'll put the hub back on now. Okay, the handbrake cable now is fully attached. Put the hub back on. Put the brake caliper carrier on. Put the disc on. Sorry, brake caliper carrier. Caliper on. Put the pads in. This is done. But before I put all that on, I'm just gonna put a little bit of grease on these springs here. Make sure this is wound down as well. That's it. When you want to adjust it, okay, you'll be adjusting it through one of the holes. Okay, but basically, to adjust it outwards, you push these up. Okay, and the spring on the threads, so you can maybe see there. Just get a little bit wider. You can shoes out onto the pads. Okay, so that's what you'll be doing when we adjust the handbrake. So now you want to wind it all the way down, so you can put the disc on first. Okay, but hub on next. Yay! Look, the hub wouldn't go on, and it broke. I tell you what, I'm beginning to hate this bloody car. Really am. Luckily I bought one new one. God, this is getting on my tits now doing all this. Right, so I can fit this one. I'll put the other hub on here as soon as I get these bits off. I have to go and buy another hub. Okay, so hub's on, brake pads are on, all the shoes are on, everything there now is attached. So let's put the disc on. I'm going to give you a brake disc wipe down with some brake cleaner just to clean off the transit grease. There we go, line that hole up. Little torque screw. Okay, this is a T47. Okay, so T47, screw the hole down on. Next time we put on the brake caliper carrier, which is that one. And then the brake pads and the caliper, and this wheel then is done. I haven't put the hubcap on yet because I'm going to torque this up. I've torqued it up now, but I just want to make sure when the weight of the car is on there, I'm just going to torque it up and with the weight of the car on there, and then knock that in then, and then put the cap back on. Okay, so brake caliper carrier next. Okay, so caliper's in position now. All you will do, fit the inboard brake pad. I've already got the grease the back of it. Fit that in there, and put the outboard one on there. These then should slide over. Fit the pad wear cable. Put the slider pins in, tighten them up. That should be done. Okay, so pads in, brake caliper on, do the same on the other side, and then we can start to adjust the handbrake at long last. Okay, so in position now then to adjust the handbrake. What you want to do is make sure your brake disc turns quite freely. Mine's not going to now because I've got new pads in there which haven't obviously bedded in and worn a little bit, so I can't turn this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this caliper back off again. You want this to spin freely to get an accurate handbrake grip, if you like, because if I do try and turn this now, obviously the pads are going to give me a false reading on whether the handbrake's actually holding the car still. So I'm going to remove the caliper, okay, and then I can then go into adjusting the handbrake. Okay, so as your hub spins nice and freely, Okay, what we want to do is make sure that nut lid as well is also slackened off. Okay, as I put new cables on there, you may also want to do it yourself as well. You just need to set the cables, so just pull the handbrake up and down a few times just to make sure the cables centralise. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. Okay, so back to the wheel now. What we want to do is apply the handbrake. Okay, so you need to line up one of these holes for the wheel bolts with the adjuster inside. Okay, and you need to put the adjuster on the driver's side upwards until the handbrake comes on. On the passenger side, you need to move the adjuster downwards until the handbrake comes on. Okay, so I need a torch, so just shine in there so you can see the adjuster. Okay, chances are you're not going to see it, but it's in there just above the spring. Okay, so I'm going to, as this is the driver's side, wind this one up until that wheel locks. There's a spring right by it as well, so just make sure you don't get your handbrake stuck in the spring. It sounds like it's doing on the occasion there. Just leave that in there just for a minute, so it doesn't block the wheel yet. Okay, so what I've done here now, I've just taken the brake disc off, just to give you an idea of what you are supposed to be doing. You put your screwdriver in through the wheel bolt there, look. As you can see then, you just put it on the adjuster and just wind the adjuster upwards. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do. Obviously with the brake disc on, so these shoes then will move out onto the inside of the disc. Okay, so you can take the disc off if you want to and just wind it on a little bit. Like I said, it's up on the driver's side, and you're winding it down on the passenger side. Okay, so it's going to wind up a little bit here. Check to see if the disc goes on. Okay, so I've just wound it up a bit more, and now it's quite difficult to put the disc back on. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to knock it back a bit now because it's nearly at its point now. So just take the disc back off, wind the adjuster back in a little bit so the disc goes on just a little bit more, and then I know then it's only be about 2 or 3 more turns to actually get the handbrake on this side. Okay, so the disc back on now. You can see it still just about turns, but you can feel it just at the grab now. So it's only going to be about another 2 or 3 turns, I reckon. It's quite difficult when you can't see what you're doing there. Okay, so there you go. The driver's side now is wound up. I can't move that at all. Just as a quick test, just crank this nut up a bit more. There you go. So even a bit more pressure. So same on the passenger side. Okay, so again on the passenger side, same thing, but on the passenger side you need to wind it down. Okay, so obviously I don't have to go for the hole first of all because I've got it apart. So just wind this down. Okay, through the hole. If you look at it, it is pretty much at 12 o'clock. Well, it is on my car, it depends on how you've got your brake shoes lined up. So you're looking around the 12 o'clock position for where the adjuster is. So again, just going to wind it down. I've done quite a bit on this one, because it took quite a lot on the other side. So obviously it's all new here. Just take any slack, it's much easier to do it like this so you can see it. You can see. Just like that. Okay, so a little bit of drag, a little bit more. Okay, right, so it's a good bit of drag on that one there, so it is nearly done now. So I'm going to leave the disc on, line it back up with its holes, put the screw back in, and then adjust it until it's on. Okay, so that's the passenger side now adjusted as well. Okay, so if both are on, what you now need to do is now slacken them back off 5 notches. Make sure it turns freely. Okay, so that's 5 notches on the passenger, and yet moves around quite nicely. Let's do the driver's side. Okay, so that's 5 notches off the driver's side, and again that turns quite nicely. Right, inside the car now. Okay, so back inside the car. It's a bit warmer here. Okay, what you need to do is you need to pull the handbrake up and down several times. Again, just to try to centralise the shoes and the cables this time. So a good few times, 5, 6, 7, something like that, and then leave it off. Okay, you now need 30mm socket or extension bar to get yourself on that nut and wind that nut up now. Okay, I'll show you now if I can. Okay, a bit difficult to actually film on there. Okay, but I've got long extension bar and my ratchet on there. So I just got to tighten up that nut. It's a bit awkward because there's not much movement. You want to do this with the handbrake off and you've got to tighten it so that the threads show around about between 23 and 25 centimeters of thread. I have to stop filming so I can't do this when I go doing that. So hold back the seat as well while I'm doing it, I think, give myself a bit more room. Okay, so what I've done now, which is a bit easier actually, I've got a flexible head ratchet screwdriver, 30mm, which I managed to get on with that there and drop it in the hole. Which has made it a bit easier to actually turn a bit more, because I was only getting like one click on the ratchet because the passenger seat was in the way. But here now, I can get a few more clicks on. It's going to take a while to tighten this one up now. Okay, again, I'm going to have to go back two-handed it. Right, change the tools again, much better this time. I've got a small ratchet and a flexi wobble bar, whatever you want to call them, with a deep socket on the end, a longer extension, and now I've got a much better access into it, and it's winding up a lot easier and quicker. Okay, getting closer now to the 23mm thread length. It's going to be quite difficult to get my tape measure in there because you can hardly see it. So what I've done, I've marked out on a bit of cardboard 23mm. So all I've got to do now is I know 23mm is that line, so I might stick that. So I'll get in there and just put that on the nut. And if the end of the threads come up to that line, I know I'm at 23mm. And even that's difficult to do without putting the handbrake on. There we go. Can't really see there. Again, I need 3 hands to actually film it and show you. It's just a little bit short, so never cut the turns, now you should be there. Okay, so that's adjusted up to 23mm, 23 to 25. Again, I can't really film in there. It's too dark either way. Now, put the handbrake on 2 notches. Nice one. Okay, so that's adjusted to 23. You should now be able to pull the handbrake up. In my case, I can't move that handbrake at all. Okay, if you can move your handbrake, then what you want to do is pull it up and down a couple of times just to flex the cables in the shoes and whatever. Then pull it up 2 clicks and then check the resistance in at the wheels. So as I can't pull mine up at all, okay, I'm just going to slacken off the adjusters on the wheels just to get them turning again so I can pull the handbrake up. Okay, what I've done now, because obviously my wheels wouldn't turn, the handbrake wouldn't come up, I've slackened this right back off again. I've taken off both of the discs, wind the adjusters right the way back in again, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this bolt on the handbrake to 23mm and see if the wheels still turn, and then adjust the wheels from there. Okay, so put this back to 23mm, slacken off both of the adjusters on the wheels now turn. So up and down, and 2 clicks. Okay, so on 2 clicks, both wheels are solid. Okay, so according to the Haynes manual, you should be able to just about turn it on 2 clicks. Well, I got no chance there, and they went right the way in. So I'm going to release the handbrake, see if I can just wind it in just a little bit more, and we'll go from there. Okay, so the driver's side now, as you can see, the adjuster is wound right the way in. Okay, I can't wind it off any more than that. There's one more click there was, so there. So that's wound right the way off. I've done the same on the passenger side. So I'm going to put the discs back on, see what it's like after 2 clicks. Okay, so 2 clicks. I can put a bit of pressure on there. I can just about make it move a little bit, but it turns quite freely when the handbrake's off. So I think I'm going to leave it at that, bed it in for a bit, and because all of this is new, so put a bit of use on it and readjust it again. The handbrake now is at the right length. I said this is on. I don't know if you can see it, but there's very minimal movement there. I'm going to put it down to 1 click and see what happens. Okay, so on 1 click I've got a little bit more movement. I need 2 hands, but with 2 hands I can get quite a bit of a turn on there, more so than what I could on the others, on the 2 clicks. Okay, with the handbrake off, there's a little bit of rubbing on there, but like I said, they've got to be bedded in, so we can move it quite easily. 1 click, again I've got a little bit of movement, so that's how you adjust the handbrake according to the Haynes manual, with a bit of an adaptation for me with new brakes. Hope this helps. Feel free to leave any comments, always welcome. And thanks for watching. All I'm going to do now, put all the brake caliper back on again, put the handbrake trim back on, job done. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and look out for some more videos.